Namaskar. Nana hesaru Mira. Nana uru Austria. Nanu onderbosha bandili. Nana adike nanu social service madu. Nana mane iwaga maiso. Hi, hello, nice to meet you. My name is Mira. My country is Austria. I came here to India to do social service for 1 year and I live in Mysore. That's what I said in Canada before. Canada is the local language of where I live of the state where I live in. I live in Mysore and Mysore is in Karnataka and here the people speak Kannada, so I learned it a little bit. I am working in a school and I'm an English teacher there, and I decided to do a volunteer here in India because I always wanted to go to India and I always wanted to get to know the culture and just to visit the country as well, and also to learn more about the society because there are lots of conceptions. Like, people have many opinions about India and they're sometimes so completely different, so I wanted to see that too. And yes, I'm working in the school with really lovely children. I'm teaching them in English. And I wanted to do a voluntary here because I also think it's one of the best ways to get to know the culture of a different country or a different continent. And also because I wanted to help, even though everybody tells you won't be helping, but I wanted to help. In India, culture is very important. So it means that they have a really huge culture, which is really different in every state where you are. So I only know about the culture in Mysore, basically, because I've been living there. And it's like there are some rules and regulations you kind of have to follow, especially when you live in Mysore, because it's more traditional, but it's really nice because that makes you kind of feel part of the culture too. And it's really amazing to get to know at least, I don't think that I know the culture, but it's really amazing to get to know at least a little part of the culture and to live in a country that is so different from yours, and you can learn so much from it too. The most important thing in the culture, I kind of feel like, is the respect for the elders. Like in the whole culture in India, is that you respect the elders a lot. And you, for example, you behave with more respect towards the elders. You sit properly in front of them. You talk nicely. If they tell you to do something, you have to do it, and you don't question it normally. And there are also small parts. Like, for example, when somebody touches you, like accidentally with their feet, because feet are something dishonorable, then it's kind of like you have to apologize, and then they do hand gestures, which are really nice. I really love that one, so I'm doing it all of the time because I think it's polite. And also it's different because, for example, in all of the host families, you don't say sorry or say thank you, because that's not what you do here. It's like in a family you don't say thank you because there is no need to say thank you. And normally the people don't on the streets also don't say side please, for example. They say side, and that's it. And that's just the way it is. They have a different kind of politeness. For example, they all call you madam and sir, or akka, like in Canada, akka, which means elder sister, or elder brother too, or auntie and uncle, which is not that nice to be called. But yeah, it's different. It's more the respect of the elders. And also, like, the children get brought up with lots of respect of the elders. And of course, then there's the different culture and the different religions. But that is not all of India. And the thing about, like, what I've experienced, respect for the elders is very important there. I live in the south of India, in Karnataka, that's the state. I live in Mysore, and in Mysore the people, generally in the south, the people don't like to speak Hindi because it's more coming from the north, and it's like a regulation which the people from the north, the government in the north side, which is the language for all of India. So they prefer to speak either English or their local languages. And in Karnataka you speak Kannada. And in Bangalore, which is really close to Mysore, there most of the people speak English, but in Mysore it's more that most of the people speak Kannada, so I learned a little bit of Kannada too. And it was really nice to learn it because the language actually is really beautiful. I mean, it's really different, but it's beautiful, and it also kind of reminds me of French. The south of India, you get completely different food than in the north of India. When I was eating Indian food in Europe, it was most of the times North Indian food. So I expected to have dal and chapati all of the time when I came here. I mean, to be honest, because I didn't thought that there is a difference between the South Indian kitchen and the North Indian kitchen. But actually, in my opinion, the South Indian kitchen is way better, and you don't have to eat dal all of the time or chapatis. And you eat more rice, and you eat different rice varieties, so the rice always tastes different. And you eat with, like, they put a lot of coconut in the food, especially in Kerala, but also in Karnataka, where I live. They use a lot of coconut, which is amazing, and it tastes so much better. And when I was traveling in the north, the food in general is really good. The food in the north too, but when I came back, I realized how nice the food in the south. My most favorite dishes concerning South Indian food kitchen are dosas. You eat chapati and roti with either chutney, palia, sagu, or you can also eat it with sambar. And chutney is kind of like it's really hard to explain. It's chutney. It's more like a spicy sauce, which they put lots of coconut in there normally too, and it's really good. And it has more of a thicker consistency. Palia and sagu are both with vegetables, which are small cut, and with sagu it's a little bit more liquid. And samba is like most of the time lots of liquid with sometimes a little bit of vegetables. And there are so many different types of chutney, palia, sagu, and samba. I'm really happy that I chose to go to India to do social service because, like I said in the beginning, I really wanted to go to India my whole lifetime, and I think it's a really good way to do it over a social year because you can get to know so many different aspects of India. For example, the people who travel just as tourists through India, they did not get to know that many aspects. You don't completely, like, it's harder to understand how the society works, and also what amazing things there are in India which some people don't know about, but also what are the things which are not that nice, like you have it everywhere. And it's, you get a broader picture about India too, and you get to know the culture a little bit easier and maybe a little bit more. It depends on you, of course, but yeah, so for me it was really nice to do that here, and I really enjoyed it. I can really recommend to come to India to have this experience as a social year because you can learn so much from it and you can have such a nice time, and it's just amazing how much of the culture you get to know. But of course you have to be interested in India and have to be interested in the culture because otherwise it won't be there.